And welcome back to 4029 News on the Record. Joining us now is Dr. Gwendolyn Herzig, owner of Park West Pharmacy in Little Rock. Dr. Herzig, please tell us a little bit about your background and why you felt propelled to head to the Senate Judiciary Committee in Little Rock this week to speak against Senate Bill 199.
No, for sure. So I own Park West Pharmacy out of Little Rock, Arkansas. We really focus on minority healthcare, especially LGBTQ healthcare, with an emphasis in trans care. Also, with a little bit of my personal story, is I'm trans as well. And so just over the last 3 years of my own transition, I just kind of felt pertinent to start really standing up and going to the legislator and really kind of just voicing my concern about these bills and how hurtful they are.
So first, we have to start with Senator Matt McKee, talking about hurtful, asking you a very controversial question, a very personal question. How did that make you feel?
It was really degrading, to be honest with you. Just having coming out there with lived experience, being able to be show what my profession, how I help the community, and just all my expertise in the area, just be kind of singled down to a single body part was really probably the most publicly humiliating thing I've ever experienced.
So what have you been, what do you tell people when they have a question like that, or when they are, watching this committee meeting going, how does that make a person feel?
No, sure. It's like I said, dehumanizing. Generally, I try to provide more of an atmosphere of education. And then if there any type of question like that ever does pop up, I generally obviously address it and say kind of why this is probably not potentially a great question to ask. And really kind of distract and use that as a form of education. So.
Okay. Doctor, lead sponsor of the bill, Gary Stubblefield, said that this bill is about protecting children. How do you respond to that claim? You have children of your own.
Yeah, for sure. I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they're both spoiled rotten. But this bill is really more about targeting trans youth. And in fact, the trans youth group is already such a marginalized group, and it's already having a hard time accessing resources and care. And it's we already have 20 American institutions that have guidelines that address trans youth and also trans adults and what the appropriate care and guidelines are. And so the fact that Senator Stubblefield wants to use a copycat bill and that's just going around and trying to press his own agenda, when I don't think he truly has sat down and really spoke with the community or community leaders to really see why this is harmful, it's very disheartening, especially for just across the U.S. in general and also for Arkansas constituents.
Now, this bill would let anyone sue a doctor up to 30 years as it's written right now, but they're trying to change it to 15 years after surgery if they can prove damages. As the owner of the pharmacy, are there any concerns that former patients might seek damages against you 3 decades down the road, or 15 if they change the wording?
No, for sure. So the issue here is the pharmacy will never, or even myself or current practitioners will not start providing care unless it just absolutely becomes illegal to do so. A lot of this bill is just fear mongering. A big thing they kept on saying is to use these words, genital mutilation. That just doesn't happen. First of all, trans youth surgeries just don't happen. They keep bringing it up to cause fear mongering and scaring. To even actually get surgeries as an adult is actually a very hard process. A, it's very costly. B, there's a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to insurance and actually getting those surgeries scheduled. C, there's a lot of downtime with it. A lot of people just don't have the time to actually recover for it and keep going. And then also you have to think about a lot of times the trans community is socially, economically disadvantaged. It's not like they just have thousands of dollars set aside to go get a surgery. So to think that even an adult has a hard time to go get a surgery, then to think, oh, a child could just go up to any doctor and have a gender confirming surgery done is ludicrous, to be honest with you. And so I just wish, once again, that we would become a little bit more educated and we'd sit down with our community leaders of that group that's being affected and really talk to them.
Can you talk a little bit about the care that you do provide and the type of care that a lot of Arkansans are seeking, even youth?
No, for sure. So as a pharmacy, we dispense out hormone replacement therapy and puberty suppressing drugs. Also, we're just a good place for resources, whether if it's we're looking at name change or gender change, or we're just having some questions about what HRT or which HRT does not do, or what are some appropriate puberty suppression drugs or the cost, or just there are so many, or what are the questions we have about social transition, what surgeries are out there. So I think that one thing is too, that there's this misconception that every transition has a start point and a stop point with everything in between. But in general, most trans gender individuals have their own specific goals that they have in mind. And so some of those goals might be just a social transition. Some of those goals might include hormone replacement therapy. Some of those goals might require surgical intervention if they feel like it. But every person is different on what they want to achieve. So
Now, there are multiple bills like this one going through Arkansas and other state legislatures right now, including Oklahoma now. Do you feel that this is a coordinated effort? And why is there suddenly so much legislation around gender affirming care this year?
uh, once again, I feel like it's easy to it's easy to attack a marginalized community, and the transgender community is very vulnerable. It's not easy to transition, and the social stigmatization of these bills really just hurts those individuals that much more. And so it really is a coordinated effort by certain institutions, but it's just really sad because all it's doing is it's really hurting people when, especially the country and even Arkansas for that matter, has so many larger issues to tackle, like the unsheltered population or food insecurity for children or our infrastructure, our roads. I mean, there's so many other things that we could be focusing on, but we want to waste taxpayers' dollars and attack an already disadvantaged community. And so it's very frustrating and very sad. And especially once again, the VA will up there. This is my first time going into a legislator or the Senate and being want to voice my concern to be to the point where it's none of that matters. I just get asked a very humiliating question and then I get oh, no more questions. And so I don't know. It's just really sad.
Is there anything we forgot to ask you that you think that Arkansans should be aware of?
That even though it seems like especially the LGBT community and the trans community or any minority community for that matter, feels like we keep getting attacked because even it was reproductive rights just several months ago. It's we take several steps forward and we may take a few steps back, but we're still making progress. And so we have way more resources and way more guidance available today than others. And I really applaud anyone, or if you have any questions, there are national guidelines out there called WPATH. Just take a second, review them, ask a friend. There's just so much other knowledge out there and so many American institutions that already have guidelines out there. So.
All right, Dr. Gwendolyn Herzig with the Park West Pharmacy, thank you so much for joining us to talk about Senate Bill 199 today on 4029 News on the Record.